Okay, so the meeting, we're gonna call the meeting to order. This is Warrick County Economic Development Advisory Council, May 21st, 2026. So we're gonna essentially suspend the agenda as proposed while we await a quorum. And Steve, I'm gonna have you go through new business and old business that doesn't require us to provide approval for those things.
Perfect, so we'll come back to that. So let's go to new business. The first thing, just to let you guys know, just Lynn's not here today, so she was gonna tell us a little bit about it, but giant announcement over the last month there at Deaconess, $150 million cancer center, bringing all kinds of specialists and care to our community and to the entire region. You can kind of see the map there of where that facility is gonna go. It's kind of gonna be angled toward the interstate there, be extremely visible. There's several more renderings online. It was just a really nice announcement. The giant donation from an individual family to kind of make that happen, and just really good for the community. So that was the first update. The next update is Project Vanguard went to County Council for the preliminary resolution last month. It was approved 7-0. Remember, this is for the 150,000 square foot warehouse. This is, these are really high paying, $44 some hour an hour jobs. These are plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, 101 new jobs here in the community. Great US company, really excited to have them here. It will go back on June 2nd for the confirming resolution. I'm gonna skip ahead to a couple things that we gotta talk about and go to just a little bit of old business updates. Just to let you know, projects continue moving forward. We've been working with Linville on their baseball, softball expansion. With that program, we have found a $25,000 grant that they're gonna apply for. They have some funds. We're waiting to see what the town of Linville can contribute. And then we're gonna go for edit with County Council to finish that project. That's adding a second field, expanding parking that's much needed from a safety standpoint and a facility standpoint, and also doing a really small playground because we all go to those ball fields and sit all day and younger siblings have nothing to do. And here they basically play along State Road 68 because Stacy can validate that. There's a creek down there, but they're right off the road. And there's a lot of traffic that comes through here. And if anyone hasn't been up to Linville, they have an outstanding history in baseball and softball, and this program feeds it all. So that project's moving forward. 4-H, we are working, we should have the agreement signed, and they have already raised about half of the additional funds that they need to make that project go after our contribution. So they're using that to leverage raising the closing funds. So I fully expect that project to be fully funded later this year. They are not gonna have it built for the fair this year. Their goal is to have it built for the fair next year. The RED program, remember, we were one of 2 counties awarded this. We've taken the next step. We had another meeting at our office. Basically, this is about community engagement. And we're doing 4 pathways for engagement: a survey, a photo voice. Photo voice is like take pictures of 3 things, something you like about your community, something you love about your community, and something you would like to love about your community. And a survey is a survey. Micro interviews are kind of one-on-one, just kind of one question to engage the community. And then there's a wild card thing, which we have some creative folks that are going to create, I think, a phone booth, and they're going to put it at some events. And when you pick it up, it's going to ask you a question about your community. You're going to record your answer. That's going to go through the rest of the year. If anyone wants to get involved, you can join one of those 4 pathways. Let me know, and I will help you out with that. Let's see. Additional items, we really only have a couple. Like I said, I cut a lot of the updates so we can focus on our tax abatement items. There's a lot of things that are happening here in the next short bit. We obviously have America's 250 and a whole bunch of things going on. There's a couple things on the board over there. There's a costume ball going on. There's a bunch of things for kind of 4th of July and those celebrations. And that is about it for the new updates. So why don't we do this?
You wanna summarize the projects that we're gonna?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we got 2 new tax abatements. Remember, EDAC board makes a recommendation for County Council. And then the Redevelopment Commission, because both of these projects fall within a TIP, have to pass a resolution today. If both of those things happen, we take it to county council at their June meeting. And so the first project is what we were calling Project Viper. Project Viper is Kaiser Aluminum. And so you were sent a packet earlier today after we got the final information, but just to summarize it, it's a $143 million investment over 5 years. It's basically to refurbish, upgrade that facility, buildings and equipment. Most of that was put in outside of the Roll Code 4. All of the older stuff was put in the 70s through 90s. And so it really has outlived its economic and its usefulness as far as technology wise. And so for them to be sustainable, they have over 1,000 jobs here in Warrick County. We all know they're one of the highest entry-level jobs in our community, one of the largest taxpayers in our community. And this is key for them to grow here in Warrick County and be sustainable for decades to come. You'll see that it works out to be $105 million in personal property and about $38 million in real property improvements. There was an entire equipment list sent out in the email today. We've scored it. It scores as a 10-year abatement on real and personal property. It only adds 5 new jobs. A lot of this is replacing stuff, updating stuff. You saw their environmental statement. They're improving the generators they use to more efficient generators, their water system to more efficient water systems. But it really also, I think, keeps them here for the next several decades and it retains those other 1,000 jobs that they have here in the community. So any questions? And I'll move to the next one and then we can go back up for questions.
I mean, what I was hearing from Kaiser was they need to make a lot of improvements to be more efficient and just a better production facility. The other thing I heard was they're spending money in Warrick County big time compared to their other facilities. So they want to be here for a long time. We should want to keep them here for a long time. So it sure sounded good on what they were doing.
So
It's a commodity business. It happens to be a good place to be right now. So
it does. And Greg and I are on their advisory board, and so you can see that that good time, it can be good and it can
Right.
it can be
That's
hot
right.
or cold.
that's right.
And so it can be real narrow margins, both for Kaiser and for Alcoa.
Yeah.
They've been important to the community for 60 years. Here are those facilities, and hopefully they're gonna be important for another 60 years. And so since we do have a quorum, if basically it's a recommendation to support this project for us to bring to county council, happy to answer any other questions about this project.
My motion. For what you said.
To recommend.
Recommend.
Motion to recommend 10-year abatement on their real and personal property submissions.
Fantastic, yes.
You need a second. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, let's go back up to the
You want
first
to go
one.
back and start? Okay.
Yep,
So we're gonna go to the top of the agenda and look for approval of minutes from the April 16th meeting.
Motion to approve.
And that's the 2026 meeting, I think.
yep.
Well, it says 2025.
Oh, on my agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, I changed it on the slide.
There you go. Need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And motion carries. Financial report.
Okay, so financials, we do have updated financials as promised. These are our forecast models from Baker Tilly. So you'll see that basically our first column is 2026 and our last column shifts to 2030. I've kept in green all of the kind of placeholding projects that we've talked about. Anything in white, like the 4-H project that we took, that's already been approved. So if it's been approved, it comes out of that in our forecasting model. These were the models that were sent around to the board, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Warrick Bucks.
Yep,
I noticed I get advertisements for it. We used to do something for Mother's Day and what's.
so we're planning to maybe come back to council for, we've just been working through kind of every day, Greg. The interesting thing is, it's shocking how many are still getting redeemed on a daily basis. So they are still spending through them. Like last week, there was a day, it's like 19 different Warrick Bucks were redeemed. And so they are still cycling through. And so we probably will have like a summer, probably a summer and then like a holiday season one. And we'll be coming back to county council. I've had it in our forecast and projections. It's the best program we have for small businesses, over 80 businesses still participate. And I'm a big fan of it, small business is a big fan of it, so we'll have to come back for county council for that next appropriation, so look for that in the next month or two.
I'm a big fan, great gifts. great
Jenna's a big
Christmas
fan.
gifts.
So,
Keep it going.
Looked in the different funding sources to fund what's being offered to the community.
so I think we are going to talk with the chamber about that option.
Is it a tourism thing, do you think, or?
I think it's more internally, but there probably is some tourism, some people coming in to use those dollars.
Any other questions on the financial report?
Motion to approve.
Need a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
That motion carries too, so now we're down into the new business,
Okay, we have a new project which we talked about at our last meeting. This project continued to move extremely fast. This project is called Project Duck, and the stuff came in late today and you guys were sent those details. Same thing is that EDAC needs to make a recommendation to county council if you approve, and then the redevelopment commission needs to pass a resolution. So this project is a plastics project. It is a co-location project between an existing regional US plastics company and a German plastics company. The location is the Shell Building in the North Warrick Industrial Park. The US Plastics Company, which is Ultima Plastics, will purchase the Shell Building and immediately expand it 100,000 square feet, creating a 200,000 square foot facility, which they will occupy 150,000 square feet. The German Plastics Company will occupy 50,000 square feet. And so just kind of to let you know, the US Plastics Company makes the thermoplastic resins. They make ones that are different kinds and fire retardant, and they make all these specialty custom resins. The German company does finished product, but they use this resin from this US company, so they want to be co-located. They're basically going to take what they can get, put it into their molds and make their finished product. Their finished products in the construction industry, so grates and drains and all kinds of stuff that are made out of this super durable plastic. The investment and the timing, so again, there will be $15.8 million in new real property investment that's expanding the Shell Building. And then the US company is going to add just under $2 million in new manufacturing equipment. And they're just coming for their first line. They have room in that facility to put 5 or 6 lines, and they have plans for additional lines. When we talk to companies, we always say, stick with what you're gonna do in your request. So it's only gonna create 3 new jobs, but it's gonna bring 22 existing jobs to Warrick County. So a total of 25 until they get more lines. They see that potentially doubling with the new lines. And then those jobs average about $35 an hour. The German company, again, they're all want to get up and started. There'll be 7 new jobs at startup with an average wage of $31.50 an hour. And they're going to be investing just short of $5 million in their new manufacturing equipment. And so again, those lists were sent around, and their extruders and all these things that people in the plastics industry probably understand more than I do. The real property investment, so for the facility as a whole, scored at 10 years. The personal property for both companies scored at 9 years. And so that's kind of the quick summary. You can certainly, if you had time to read through, there was a lot more detail on the details of plastics and the different kinds and that kind of stuff on what these companies do. But a great project, great expansion of the Shell Building, and I think a real home run for North Warrick, going right next to Vanguard out there and really building the park.
What's the average wage in Warrick County?
Oh, Herb, I don't have that handy, but I mean, it is,
20s or?
no, it was high 20s to right around 30. And they keep updating it every year. We have a lot of high paying medical jobs here in Warrick County.
Is that factoring in doctor pay and things like that?
Was that what?
Is that factoring in doctor pay and stuff like that? That's any and all job?
Yes.
Okay.
Doctors don't make that much money.
They
It's the
don't?
engineers and the architects that make all the money.
And the attorneys.
I was gonna say, I thought it was
Sure.
30.
where did the 22 jobs
Not a
come
big-
from? 22 jobs that we can move in there, where they?
They're coming from the region, the 4 county region.
Or-
We just love them. You do.
They're coming from outside of Warrick County, but they're here in Southwest Indiana.
They are, okay, yeah.
Okay, so it's moving the.
They were in a much older facility that would not accommodate us.
And this project, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I mean, this is a retention and an attraction project together. So
Yep.
for the region, it's a huge win to be able to retain and then attract on top.
Yeah. What is
Doesn't
the
hurt
time
us.
looking for them to?
So I mean,
do it?
the plan would be, if successful here, and with county council. The timeline is to be under construction of that new 100,000 square feet in early fall.
Will they go
They would
ahead?
probably start moving into the existing shell as soon as that got finished up.
The other benefit for this group is we're paying interest on an interest only loan right now. And that was a 5-year deal on the interest only, and that 5 years ends at the end of this year.
And then that would be gone because they.
Right.
Mhm.
So if we have a sale or a lease, then our obligation goes away.
Will the 10-year and 9-year be a preliminary resolution to the council for both the German and the US?
So, yes, and I should have brought that up. Let's go back to Vanguard, sorry, to Viper with Kaiser. Just something to note, and I had it noted in the email, but it's only a one-step process for that because the ERA already exists
Okay. Yeah.
out there at Kaiser and Alcoa. So this would be the standard two-step, Greg. So it'd come in June. I let Crystal know that yesterday or today. It would come in June for the preliminary.
So we'll have one preliminary for real and personal for Ultima and one preliminary for the German company. So 2 separate resolutions.
You said that the US company is buying the building,
Correct.
is that right?
Yep.
And so we have the debt service associated with that
Correct.
building?
Yeah.
Have they submitted a purchase agreement and it's been accepted?
It's not, but we don't own that.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's owned by-
they're working,
It's owned by Woodward.
they're working through that with Woodward. That shell building was a combination project between Warrick County and
Okay.
Woodward.
But
to have a
but
building
they've submitted the offer and it's.
They're working through that. They expect that they're still gonna take probably a month or more to close. But,
But the intention is there.
100%.
5 years ago, we believed building a shell building in the Northland Industrial Park would help bring business out there.
Yeah.
It has at least that place up, but we got a 150,000 square foot building beside it.
Yeah.
That at least I think, and I think Steve probably does also, came there because the shell building was there.
Right.
They came out, they looked at the shell building, they said, what about this land right here? We'd like a bigger facility. And so it helped move things in the park. But we also wanna get this leased and used by a company like that.
Mhm.
Okay, looking for a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Okay, well, maybe I cut out too much of the fluff, but if you want additional updates, let me know. Is there any other board business?
Did you mention that there was a grand opening event for the playground by the fire station?
Yeah, Chad hasn't set a date yet,
Okay.
so I will bug him again tomorrow. Cause yeah, we're going to have a tour basically before they open. They plan to be open middle of June to 4th of July.
We're supposed to be this weekend.
Correct.
They moved it back again.
They had moved it because there were the other ways with the splash pad construction. So look for that as soon as I have, only give me just a couple options so we can pick a time that works best for the majority of us.
You can tell them they probably won't go splash around, so if they wanna show us the other stuff, they can.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, do we bring kids when we tour to try?
Yeah.
I
I
got
will
two
say
that
the
are
playground
willing.
was slightly used last night.
they're having to try to keep
FYI.
people away from
Yeah. We had a
getting
little,
on it until they open it
Yeah.
up.
there was a lacrosse banquet there last night and not gonna lie, a lot of boys might have
Yeah.
hopped on the playground equipment.
And I've been through it lately. It's really nice. So I think you guys will be really
Yeah,
nice.
it is really pretty.
The one in Newburgh's coming along strong too.
Yeah, they're out of the ground.
Yeah, it's really fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I hope they try it better than what people in Boonville City Lake Park has done. you build something really nice and you get a bunch of people destroying it. It's been bad.
Yeah, if you haven't been to City Lake, they did a real
It's
nice job of that too.
Yeah.
Real-
Yeah,
Where's that?
the Fortress of Home.
Right by the middle school, just to the east.
And the Newburgh splash pad will open this weekend.
Yep.
All the groundbreaking was really good. You guys did a great job.
Thank you, yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
the bill.
it's exciting.
Delayed.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So you can get all.
They made a lot of progress out there,
Absolutely.
yeah.
They're worried about keeping their staff now.
Yeah.
The summer's starting, yeah. Yeah,
So,
projects don't move in a linear way, they just don't.
this doesn't happen.
You know, to sort of wrap all this together, because I have the perspective of being in with this group a long time. I think the quality of place projects that we have done in this group and with redevelopment in the last, I shouldn't say how long, but many years, have been amazing. So, you know, this building, this park, all these other things, it's been great. So just pat yourselves on the back, because it's good work for the community for sure.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It only is.
Yeah, look at all the houses they came.
I was
Yeah.
saying, you have to look at Warrick County is still
Yeah.
growing. and-
Growing like crazy. All right, Steve,
Okay, if there's no other business,
need a motion,
Motion adjourned.
Oh,
second? Adjourned.
sure, yeah, I was like, you want a second?
all right, we are adjourned. Let me pause or mute this if.
Okay, have to work.
All right.
I'll pick this up out.
Pat started yet?
No, he's still working. See.
Okay, I think we are good.
We'll start our meeting here at, for RDC and Chambers. And anyone have questions about minutes of last month? If not, do I have a motion to approve? Motion,
Second.
second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, then it's done.
Okay, oh yeah, sorry. We want to approve the special meeting. We had that meeting to approve the claim because it was between months.
Yes.
So those were sent out in the packet as well. So we want to approve that second round of minutes for that quick meeting to make sure we got that claim paid.
I have a motion to approve the second round of minutes. Steve, you can second. Anna? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, second round of minutes of our groups.
Okay, so financial reports. Same as EDAC, we have updated numbers. You also were sent the updated TIF report, and we can get into, I have one slide on that to kind of point out a few things, but you can use that and talk about that in the months to come. Totals and summaries were sent to this group, and then same as EDAC, if you go through and scroll through our financials, you will see, you know, we kind of shifted calendar years where the first year now is 2026, and we're forecasting out to 2030. And that goes for Epworth and Northwest TIF and the State Road 61 TIF. Everything in green, again, is stuff we kind of talked about or thought about. To Herb's point earlier, you can see in 2027 here in the Northwest TIF, I've highlighted it when we jump to interest and principal versus interest only on the Shell building. If Project Duck lands, that goes away. So those will all get zeroed out. So happy to answer any questions. I am going to bring up some stuff to point out in that longer TIF report, just for your guys, when you guys get a chance to look at it. But happy to answer any questions.
I have a motion to approve. Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed, same sign.
Okay.
Financials pass.
Claims, 2 more claims were sent around, they were the last 2 down there. We got a bond fee bill here this week in the mail from National. And then our monthly shell building payment came in from Woodward, which is Who Cat there. And so we've also had 2 claims as we finalize the site work on the sports facility site. I have a slide coming up where we'll go over the punch list and the stuff that's left, but they've reached substantial completion. And so you can see the claims as presented on the board with the last 2 added.
Does the Eibner pay app number 9, is that not the one we approved in the special meeting?
Correct.
I just put it on there
Yep.
to document all of it.
Oh, we hadn't paid that up on the prior one that before that?
No, we teed that up, but no, we did not. We approved it. So it's already been submitted, but
Okay,
we're putting it with this month's claims.
gotcha.
Motion to motion, do I have a motion? See, second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Okay. Action items, we got a long list. All right, couple of them are just ratifying signatures. So the first one, I think we talked about last time, but it's just ratifying the signature. Basically, this is the acceptance from Newburgh Sewer on the sewer that was put in on Epworth Point. And so finally got everyone's signature on this document, and this is just to have the board ratify my signature that Newburgh has accepted the sewer that's been put in.
So Newburgh has now signed it.
Yes,
Okay.
so
Do I have a motion to approve,
Fully
to
executed.
ratify Steve's signature?
Motion to approve.
Jen?
Second.
Alright, all those in favor? Opposed, same sign.
okay, the second document we just kind of talked about, the site work has reached substantial completion. We went out and toured the site. And this is the fully executed substantial completion. They still have the punch list that you can see, kind of some carve outs there. But this is to ratify my signature on the certificate of substantial completion for the site work. They are working through that punch list. They had some reseeding, there were some street signs that weren't in, there were some road markings we wanted redone, there was a curve we wanted redone, and a few other things as you kind of go through here, a couple of grates to turn around on the drainage. But they are working through that. Morally, they're actually meeting on site, I believe, tomorrow, and to kind of update this and cross out everything on the punch list that's been done.
I have a motion to ratify Steve's signature for the certificate of substantial completion.
A motion.
Okay.
Second.
Steve, second. All those in favor? Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Okay, next is, we need to go back when you get a special use here in the county for a project, the special use expires. And so we just have to go renew that special use. And so this goes before area planning in order to get that special use. This is basically us applying to redo the special use for the sports facility site. You can see that I signed it today as it was just delivered to us. Ollie notarized it, and we will look for this board's ratification of that signature before we turn it in.
So that special use only lasted for a year, that's why we're getting up it for a year. But if we can get the deal in, because I think pretty soon, we should start pretty soon, but.
And then we won't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
That is again. Okay.
Next couple months, I think they're planning on starting, so.
Do I have a motion to ratify Steve's signature for the special use?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Trina?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, same sign. Okay, it passes.
Okay, so next, going back to the projects that we covered in EDAC, the RDC, remember, needs to make a resolution. So the first resolution is the resolution of approving the Viper, that's the Kaiser Aluminum tax phase-in as presented, 10 years on their real property and 10 years on their personal property. And so that is presented to the board for your approval and signature.
I have a motion. For Steve to sign the Viper resolution.
For you guys.
Oh, for us to.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Do we have a number on it, or do we know what the number is gonna be? It says 2026, but I don't know. Do we know?
I filled that one in,
Yeah,
The other ones are 4 and 5, so.
was 30, but I filled it in. So you have a prior draft.
So resolution
Yeah, just-
2026 dash
Well, you got three.
03.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll motion.
do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those same sign?
Okay, Holly's gonna pass that around for your signature. Same thing on Project Duck. Project Duck is two resolutions. So there's one for Ultima, which is the US Plastics Company. They are doing real property and personal property. And the German Plastics Company is just installing their equipment. Theirs is only for personal property. So one covers both the real and personal for Ultima, and the other one for Akko covers just their personal property. Herb, you wanna do those separately? Let's make a resolution. So resolution number 2026-04, Courtney, was the one for Ultima Plastics.
Do I have a motion for the Ultima Plastics, what Steve stated?
Motion.
Stacy, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay,
Okay, resolution 2026-5 is for Akko, which is the German plastics company that will be installing equipment and occupying 50,000 square feet of the new expanded shell facility.
do I have a motion for what Steve stated about Akko?
Motion to, yeah.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay, Stacy, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, that passes. So,
Okay,
move on.
so, again, three really good projects, really nice investment, really good jobs, and I think really good momentum for county. And so, excited about all three projects that we have moved forward. Okay, another thing that we have to do every year is every year, guys, we look forward on collecting TIF in 2027, and we have to send out notices to underlying taxing units about our collection of TIF. And we have to do a TIF tax presentation that we invite those underlying taxing units to as well. I will give this board my recommendation. My recommendation is that we continue in our three TIFs to collect all of the TIF that comes in.
You gotta back up for a second, this is let's make sure we see. We got one. So this is the one I didn't number because it's for the council, but sorry, you have the one, the RDC resolution. We need the RDC resolution, council resolution.
Okay, I will get it printed or you figure it out. That's on me. Okay, I will get that printed out right when we close, to sign, because I gotta switch screens. In order to do so. Okay, so every year. We're gonna have that tax, we're gonna send out the units for next month, we're gonna have our tax presentation at our June meeting. And again, my recommendation is that we continue to collect all the TIF between our obligations that we have with our bonds in the Epworth TIF and the upcoming infrastructure and roads and stuff that we plan on doing. In the North Warrick TIF, as we go and review those finances, we're pretty tight even when we get rid of the shell obligation. We still have 110 acres to develop out there in the North Warrick TIF. And then we have just started kind of in the State Road 61 in the Howard Nevins TIF. We have some plans to develop some sites out there and also to do some community development projects here in this TIF area. So my recommendation to the board is that we continue to do and collect the TIF as we have. We just need a vote or a motion to continue to collect the TIF that comes in, all the TIF.
And
And
authorize me to send out required letters, so I've got to inform the underlying taxing units that we're keeping the TIF.
and invite them to our June
Invite
meeting.
them to our June meeting so they can hear what we're gonna use the money for.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay. it
Okay.
passes.
Did the motion cover all the different TIF districts? Did it cover Epworth, North Warwick?
Yes.
Yeah, he stated.
Yes.
Yeah, he stated all three.
Yes, I was kitchen.
Okay, let's go to new business, so just kind of backing up our new financials and stuff, guys. I know this is a 60 or something page report we get every year. It is a good refresher if you want to remember kind of what our bonds are, what our interest rates are, if they're redeemable or not. There's a section on all of our debt. There's a section on each TIF district. There's how we forecast the future revenues, meaning if there's projects that we know about that are coming that are unfinished. So for example, there's an assisted living facility on the wellness trail that's under construction. We know the about size. We go over that. And I think Courtney, you said it on the Baker Tilly meeting. I don't know that anyone else could make that, but we go over, here's the new projects that we have. So it dives into that, and then it also gives the history of each TIF district, when they were established, when they expire, if there's any designated taxpayers. And then there's new updates in each of them. And so like if you look in the top one, like the fourth line down says less estimated SEA one deductions from years 2 through 6. And you can see that's the Epworth Road TIF. And you can see that due to SEA one, which is the new property tax bill, you can see that the assessed value drops significantly. And so assessed value drops like in 2030 by $56 million, in 2031 by $63 million. And you can see those numbers, and all the reasoning and stuff will be called out with the bullet points. So if you want to get up to speed on kind of a refresher, I look through it every year just to remember those dates. So when you guys ask me questions, this is the report that I gotta go back to remember what our interest rate is or stuff like that. So you guys have that, you can go through it. It's just a good resource to have. And if you have a question, the answer is most likely in there, if that makes sense.
One of the interesting things and one of the important things, I think, when you look on that top one, it talks about what the base assessed value was when we set up the airport TIF. So it was 58, 60 million, something like that. And now it is 600, is that 612? $612 million.
Yep,
So the difference is how much has been invested in the airport TIF since we created that TIF district. $550 million. And we got a lot coming too, so that's a nice haul for what, how many years we've been in, 15 years, 20 years, something like that.
we're approaching, so it's gonna start expiring in 2034. So yeah, 15.
Yeah. And there's hundreds of millions coming, assuming we can land the things we got going right now, so. It's really improved over the last 15 years.
That resolution. An email, can you see? Well, sending it to Emily, right? Okay, next one. So I sent the whole report. This is a 60-some page report. You can look at pictures and learn a whole bunch about streams and wetlands. The real thing that is the summary is this visual page, and that's what I use. So we basically, the board approved Meristem to review, because this is where we're planning to expand Van Road and expand Grim Road. So we have to go and look at the condition of the streams and the wetlands, which may change the orientation of where we put the road or where we cross a wetland. And so this report is fairly favorable to us, where even though there's a lot of stuff on there, if you look in the middle where it says wetland B, which we already knew, here where the floodplain is, and you see this blue area, that's really the only area that is shown where there's jurisdictional streams and wetlands, and that is important due to mitigation and what you have to do. And we already knew that you can't build in the floodway. And so we're gonna have to bridge that anyways, so we're not really gonna disturb that area. The rest of them were deemed non-jurisdictional. Now, Meristem doesn't set the rule. This report that you guys got will go to DNR, and they will make a decision whether those are truly jurisdictional or non-jurisdictional. And there's a lot that goes in there on whether they were existing or whether they were man-made ditches and what was there previously. And that report details it. It puts a lot of pictures in there about the conditions that were found. But all in all, if accepted as is, it's a pretty favorable result. And we're gonna be able to stay out of a lot of mitigation. Does that make sense? So that's going to DNR. DNR can take a month or 3 months, or, you know, we'll touch on that in a second when we get to our other floodway study just to the west of here. But you can look through that whole report if you like. This one page really does a nice example of summarizing it all. Any questions? Okay, staying on the same topic, we got acceptance as is with no changes to the floodway study. This is over on the Howard Ditch that goes along Epworth all the way to 62 and comes down past Deaconess Gateway. That was where we were concerned that people were building in the floodway and pushing water onto their neighbors. And so even though the floodway is there, whether it's recorded or not, this will actually get it recorded so that developers, builders, when people buy land, they will know that the floodway is there on their property. Without having to do these studies on how much water flows from a square mile and stuff like that. The letter that you see is the acceptance from DNR. It's not up on their website yet, but it just takes time for them to update it so that everyone will see it. But that's the accepted now floodway. That project is done by Morley and Michael Sears over there. If anyone knows Michael, he's kind of an expert on this stuff in the region and does a really nice job. So that's good news.
So the yellow is the,
So yes, the yellow is the actual floodway, the blue is actually the floodplain that is in that area, and even though you see all that other light blue, because of the way this creek is, all the water in like the real light blue actually flows the other way and not into this ditch. So what you see here is if it's not colored, it's high ground, and what you see in the yellowish green is the actual floodway, and then the floodplain that comes off of that is in that darker blue color. So it's a real narrow piece, but as you looked at it, goes basically right up Epworth. It's real key to people buying property and developing on that property, because you can build in the floodplain, the floodway, you can't raise like 1/8 of an inch. Okay, any other questions on that? Okay. All right. Couple of other quick updates. We already talked about the punch list. I had another slide on here before we had the substantial completion document that I sort of kind of doubled up on that. But we're going through that punch list and they are knocking it out. A lot of that's been done, but we still have a few more things to cover. Another update for you guys. The RDC Executive Committee. So that's our board, Courtney, Steve, and Jenna. Just to let you guys know, I've asked the executive committee if they would like to meet an extra one time a month, because we have a lot going on. And so bandwidth is a problem with a small 3-person department. And I think there's more stuff that if we meet one extra time a month, we can get stuff ready for this board and kind of go quicker on our vision plan, on our branding, on a whole bunch of things so that we can get more work done. And so we're still trying to work on kind of an ongoing date that the executive committee can kind of get a little deeper dive and update and be a little crisper for us to bring stuff to you guys as the board. So we're gonna move forward with that plan to try to put our foot on the gas with some of the stuff that's going on. Does that make sense? Okay. So North Warwick TIF, because we talked about Duck and we talked about Vanguard. I took those off of the slides off of here for our meeting today. The only other thing is I'm waiting to get a tour and an update on Phoenix's 3rd building out there. It's coming along well, but they are just setting a date for me to go out there and get some physical eyes on it and walk through that project. So hopefully I'll have that update for you guys next month. On our big project Vivid, it's still just kind of on a pause. They've done a ton of work and everything. It's now just at the approval if they're gonna pull the trigger on this. So no real update on that project. State Road 61, same thing. We provided some funding for Warwick Trails at AMAX. They have started that project over there on expanding that site, which is gonna allow us to improve parking and put a trail around the facility. And ultimately, in a future phase, the goal is to have a turf field that Warwick County and all of our youth activities can use, so they don't have to leave the county to rent fields and do that kind of stuff. That pretty good. Okay. Okay, any other board business?
So one thing we ought to talk about sometime now is what do we do when we run out of land at the North Warwick Industrial Park? And sort of a combined thing for that is when do we start moving forward with a potential industrial park down in the State Road 61 area? And so the first question is, do we want another one? And then if this if the answer to that is yes, we'll have to identify some land and run some utilities out there and all that good stuff. Cause we are gonna run out of land in the North Warrick Industrial Park here
We could run out super fast.
super fast.
If Vivid moves forward, we will be on plan. And so we talked about before, there is 35, 40 acres on the corner. And it's kind of do we wanna do it now, or do we wanna do it later? So do you wanna add on when we have 110? Or do we wanna make a little more traction on Vivid before we lock up that land? And I think also you guys saw the financials, if the shell building goes with Project Duck, it frees up additional funds if we wanna lock up some land. So we have a few, let's say, balls in the air that may quickly get decided and give us a little more clarity on the best use of those funds and where we want to go.
But the other thing related to Vivid is if Vivid announces and says, yeah, we're bringing this massive investment. Then the price of that land probably just went up.
That is true too.
Could you make some sort of first right of refusal or?
I've had a conversation with the realtor that the property's not on the market, but I've talked with the realtor that has repped that family in the past. And that is a definite possibility.
So it was for sale for a long while. Do you remember how long it was?
It was, I think that was really only up for about, and not only, about 2 years. And then it came off the market about a year,
What, 40 grand? So-
Yeah.
No,
25,
$25,000 an acre, wasn't
it was 40,
it? Acres.
Acres,
20,
yeah.
Yeah.
28, 5 maybe.
28,000
Yeah.
an acre. So I mean, it's immediately adjacent to the park. For us, it's easy to tie in utilities and we have to use that pretty easily.
Should we do something about that now?
I think, in my opinion, because one, we need money to do it. We can take an option and spend a little bit of money or put a first right of refusal together for sure. So we can move forward with that if the board wants to do that. I think that based on Project Duck changes our financials. And then also just kind of understanding the Vivid situation. We can still get more land. And that may be more desirable to somebody that's gonna have trucks in and out because it has Nobles Chapel and State Road 57 access. And it's not kind of buried a little deeper in the park. So it may work better for some projects to have it.
Can you put together something for us so we can?
Yep.
So as soon as if the shell building sales or leases, we got enough money to buy it right now.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion, that since Duck is, you have said fairly quickly moving forward.
We will
I would
know
wait and say,
ASAP,
yeah,
Yeah.
likely by our next
wait
meeting.
for that,
You know,
and
shell
then
building or something,
Yeah.
but if we do.
Right.
Well,
I would like to. Before we entertain.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
On that for a while, yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, any other RDC board business? Okay. Who's gonna jump in?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
I'll tell you guys, June 2nd, I'm retiring from the bank and we're having an open house. Thank you. Open house that day from 12 to 4 at the Old National in Boonville, El Magay's Catering and
hold on, wait.